They say evil doesn't wear horns. Sometimes, it walks into your home wearing your mother's perfume. The night my father brought her home, I smelled it. Jasmine and blood. It was a scent I hadn't smelled since my mother's funeral. Soft, floral, and suffocating. I was 18, and grief had become the wallpaper of my life. My dad did his best. We lived in a sleepy lakeside town called Elmridge, where secrets floated as quietly as fallen leaves. I kept my head down. School, books, and Lucas, my best friend and maybe something more. Until she arrived. Vivianne. He introduced her as my stepmother, tall with soft lips curving into a polite smile. My father beamed with pride, but I felt cold. Even from across the dinner table, her eyes held a secret that sent a shiver through my spine. "She's just eager to be part of our family, sweetheart," Dad said cheerfully as she poured gravy over my potatoes. I nodded, tasting something bitter in my mouth that wasn't the gravy. Mom had been gone for 2 years, but I still felt her presence in every corner of the house. Every corner, except the seat where this new stranger sat. She stepped into our home like she owned it, heels clicking on hardwood, her smile painted in a shade too bright to be sincere. My dad's eyes followed her like a moth to flame. I knew then that I'd already lost him. She kissed his cheek and turned to me. "Marissa," she said warmly, "I've heard so much about you." I blinked. My heart beat once loudly. Her voice was velvet, the kind that hides razors. That night at dinner, she slid perfectly into Mom's old seat. She folded napkins with surgical precision. She laughed too sweetly. Her eyes, pale green like a cat's, watched me more than she ate. I smiled back, because I had been taught to be polite, but something in my gut turned sour. That night, I could not sleep. I swore I heard whispering, faint, like a breath through the walls. I pressed my ear to the plaster and caught the words. "It has to be clean this time. She can't find out." A shadow moved past my door. The next morning, the smell of bacon filled the kitchen. Vivianne wore a silky robe, my mother's robe. My chest tightened. "I found this in storage," she said casually, sipping tea. "Hope you don't mind." I nodded, swallowing the scream rising in my throat. I skipped school and wandered to the attic. Dust covered everything. But I needed to remember what my real mother looked like. Not this imposter in her clothes. There, buried in a cedar drawer, was a leather-bound photo album. Inside was a picture of Mom at the beach, arms around a younger me, laughing. A note fell out as I turned the page. "If something happens to me, start with the mirror." A chill ran down my spine. I ran to the hallway, staring into the antique hallway mirror. For a moment, nothing. Then I noticed. The frame had a thin seam. I pressed it. Click. Inside the hidden compartment was a flash drive. Dusty but real. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't trust him anymore, not fully. That night, I took it to Lucas. Lucas had always been there. Quiet, thoughtful, with a sarcastic streak, and the kindest eyes I'd ever known. He booted up the drive. There were 3 video files. One by one, we watched them. Video 1. Mom sits in this very house, whispering into the camera. "If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident. Her name is not Vivianne." Video 2. A newspaper clipping. Headline. "Local woman survives car fire that killed husband. No charges filed." The woman? Vivianne. Only back then. Her name was Eloise Calder. Video 3. A voice recording. Mom and someone arguing. You couldn't hear the other voice clearly, but the words, "You won't take him from me," echoed loud and clear. I gasped. My mother knew she was in danger. Lucas turned to me. "You can't stay in that house." But I couldn't leave. That Friday, Vivianne hosted a dinner party. People from town came. Our mayor, Dad's co-workers, people who once brought casseroles when Mom died. Vivianne dazzled them all, pouring wine and telling stories. Her laugh was electric, but behind the scenes, I saw her slip a blue capsule into my dad's wine. My hands trembled. I made an excuse to swap glasses when no one looked. After the party, Dad went to bed with a headache. Nothing worse. But I stayed awake and checked his phone. One message stood out, from an unsaved number. "You promised she'd be out by now. I want my share. Don't make me come back." The next morning, Dad was dazed and irritable. He didn't remember the end of the party. Vivianne just smiled and offered him tea. Lucas and I dug deeper. We went to the old records office outside town. Turns out, Vivianne wasn't just Eloise Calder. She'd also been Veronica Dane, a caregiver whose last client died mysteriously. The obituary said he fell asleep by the lake. Sounded innocent. Until I saw the photo of the lake cabin. It was the same one she suggested Dad buy for weekend getaways. The pieces clicked together. Back home, I followed her one night. She went down into the basement, where we kept old wine and Christmas decorations. But I saw her unlock a panel behind the shelf. A room I never knew existed. I watched through a crack. The room had a wall of photos. Of my dad, me, my mom, with red X's slashed across every one of my mother. Vivianne was humming, cutting something. I didn't stay to find out what. After seeing the secret room, I barely slept. In the early morning silence, I snuck into my dad's study and searched through his drawer. I needed to know if he was part of this. I didn't want to believe it. At the bottom of a locked cabinet, which I picked with a pin like Lucas taught me, I found a file folder labeled in Vivianne's handwriting. Inside, property deeds, life insurance, a power of attorney form, signed by my father, and then a letter. This one handwritten. Keep her close. She trusts you. I'll do the rest. I sank to the floor, my stomach twisted in knots. Was Dad in on it? Or was he her next victim? Lucas came over that night. We sat on my bedroom floor, going through everything. I showed him the letter, the files, the picture from the mirror. Lucas was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "She's done this before, over and over. She worms her way into someone's life, isolates them, drains them. She's like a parasite." I nodded, my voice a whisper. "She killed my mother, didn't she?" Lucas didn't answer. He just pulled me into his arms. The next day at school, everything felt off. I kept seeing the same black SUV parked near the lot. I asked around. No one knew whose it was. In the hallway between classes, Lucas kissed me. It wasn't planned. It wasn't soft. It was desperate. Like two people trying to cling to the last piece of something real. I kissed him back. For a few seconds, I forgot about Vivianne. About secrets and ghosts. It was just us, and I needed that. Until I saw Vivianne standing by the school gate, watching, smiling, knowing. I confronted my dad that night. "Who is she?" I asked, voice trembling. He looked confused. "What are you talking about?" I showed him the deed, the signature, the notes. He backed up like I'd slapped him. "I don't remember signing that," he whispered. "She's drugging you, Dad." His eyes darkened. "Marissa, that's ridiculous." "Then why does she have a secret room filled with pictures of us with your wife's face crossed out?" I screamed. That was the moment Vivianne walked in. She didn't yell. She didn't deny anything. She just smiled. "Darling, you've been through so much. Maybe you need help." She turned to my dad. "Do you see? She's unraveling, just like her mother did." My dad froze. Something broke in his eyes. He whispered, "Don't say that." Vivianne tilted her head. "You never told us what happened before the accident, did you?" He stood there, stunned. "You said it was a car crash," I whispered. My dad looked at me, guilt flooding his face. "It was. But your mother, she thought someone was following her. She said she found something dangerous. She started hiding things, acting paranoid. I felt like the floor dropped out beneath me." He went on. "And the day of the crash, she called me screaming. She said she knows. She's going to finish what she started." And then the line cut. Vivianne stepped forward, voice soft. "She was sick, Marissa." I turned to my dad. "Do you believe that? After everything you've seen?" His silence answered for him. Lucas and I made a plan. He'd go to the sheriff with what we had. The videos, the photos, the documents. I'd stay close to Vivianne. Watch her, record her, prove she wasn't just dangerous. She was a killer. But plans are only as strong as your secrets. Vivianne must have known something was off, because that night, she drugged my tea. I woke up in the cellar, chained. The walls were cold stone, lined with old tools. A single light flickered above me. Vivianne sat across the room, dressed in black, peeling an apple with a knife. "I never wanted it to come to this," she said calmly. "But you've made yourself a problem." I stayed silent. She stood, knife in hand. "Your mother was smarter than you, but not fast enough." Tears blurred my vision. Not from fear, from fury. "You won't win," I hissed. "Lucas, he knows. He's coming." She paused, and then she smiled again. "You mean the boy in the lake?" My heart stopped. I don't remember screaming. I don't remember throwing the chair. I just remember breaking the chain from the wall and lunging at her with everything inside me. She wasn't expecting the fight. I slammed her into the shelf, tools clattering everywhere. She slashed at my arm, but I ducked and shoved her back. We fought like animals. Blood, breath, hate, and fire. And then, a shot rang out. Vivianne stumbled. A hole bloomed in her shoulder. She collapsed. Behind her on the stairs, Lucas, soaking wet, bleeding. I jumped out of the car before it hit the lake. He panted. Sorry I'm late. I laughed and cried and collapsed into him. Vivianne was arrested. She had aliases across 4 states. Evidence from the basement, the drive, the secret room. It all added up. My dad apologized every day for months. He didn't know. He should have. But trauma blinds you in ways love doesn't fix. Lucas healed. So did I, in pieces, together. My mom's memory lived on. The truth saved her name. And in time, I stopped checking over my shoulder. But some nights, when the wind howls over the lake and the house is too quiet, I swear, I still smell jasmine and blood. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. We'll love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please feel free to share your thoughts and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you on the next one.